Welcome to Polished Pickup TV. I am your host, Trisha of the Polished Mage. I am so geeked to have this month none other than Karen, a freaking Lurid Lacquer, joining us. Karen, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I've been watching all the other episodes, which is really fun because I don't really know anything about a lot of my fellow makers. So it's been like really fun, especially before PBE, to watch everybody's videos just to get a sense of like, what do they even look like? What do they sound like? Like the Kathleen Nicole one, I've always wondered, like, why is that her brand name? So like, they're so fun. So I'm really excited that you thought of me and that I'm here. Thank you.
Lucky to have you. Are you kidding? I guess we're just going to start this off how we normally do. Lurid Lacquer, where does the name come from?
The name is a joke, really. So when I was trying to think of a brand name, I like made an entire like full notebook page, like 8 by 11 of like possible names. And like I write fiction. That's what I actually do with my free time. And so like I have very strong feelings on things like alliteration. I'm like L's are my favorite sounds to alliterate. So I'm like narrowing down my list to like what LL polishes could I be? And then when I
Yeah.
got to lurid, I just kind of laughed and I was like, I'm like the least lurid person you'll ever meet. And so I was like, okay, I kind of like this. It's kind of ridiculous and absurd. And then I was like, let me just Google because every once in a while, a word has like a meaning you don't know what it has, or like an archaic usage. And like I had no idea. So when I looked up lurid, I was like, okay, the first definition is I think the one we usually think of, which is like scandalous, shocking. And the second one was like garishly bright to the point of being offensive. And I was like, well, if that's not my aesthetic, I don't know what is. So then I was like, I'm sold. It's great. It's got the irony and it's got like the honesty, which is I just want to flood the world with bright, beautiful, eye-searingly painful things to look at.
You do. You
So
absolutely do. Um, how did you get into it?
that's like a story in two parts. There's like everybody's like, how the heck did you find the indies? Because they're not easy to find. So like that one is
Yeah.
for like Christmas and maybe 20 what year was that? Oh my gosh, 2021, like December 2021. My friend bought me some ILMPs and I had like for years, like I was a very dedicated like luxury beauty shopper, loved beauty YouTube, like loved Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona. Like I love makeup. I
Hmm.
have always loved makeup, but I never really got into nail polish because I had no idea that like top coat and base coat made such a difference. So I like paint my nails and like a day later it'd be peeling off and I was, like buying whatever from the drugstore. And so like I would buy nail polishes, get so excited, be like, I'm going to become a nail lady finally. And then I would just be like, I'm never going to become a nail lady. This is a colossal waste of time and I don't know how to sit still. And so whatever. So my friend buys me some ILMPs because we just kept seeing marketing from like, I don't know, it just like popped up in her feed and she would like show me pictures and I was like, what the heck? So she bought me a few and I painted it on and I was like, what am I looking at? What is this? Like I had never seen anything like it. And then I also started using a like OP. I had a like combo top coat, base coat thing. And
Uh-huh.
so the combination of like actually using a top coat and base coat and then just like boutiques and indies just have a great formulation, I think, that like just last. So like I'm getting like 5 days of wear and like down the rabbit hole I went. Like once you find one of the bigger boutiques, then it's like it's just a matter of time before you find the indies. And then I found the indies and I was like, and
This is
that's the
it.
story of how I didn't have any money for a long time.
I think we're
Buying
all like
crazy
pleasantly broke.
amounts of nail polish. Yeah. And so, yeah, that was like in the most basic way. That's kind of how I got into it. But then, like, I would be in therapy sessions, like telling my therapist, like, I need to like stop stress spending. Like, I have a budget and I need to stick to it and like strategizing around, like, hey, I had a bad feeling. That doesn't mean I get a present, which is like to everyone out there who feels that way. I get it. It's like very
Yeah.
hard to break out of that cycle. And so my therapist is like a handcrafter too. So she was like, well, if they're indie, if they're handmade, that means you can learn how to make it too. Like you just have to figure out how. And so I was like, oh, okay. And then I started kind of learning things, figuring out like there was like a making group on Facebook. So it was like really basic stuff like where do you buy suspension base? Where do you buy colorants? Where do you find this, that, and the other thing? And like then I just started doing it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is everything that I love. It's makeup, it's art. And then when I tied in my own writing, because I kept finding myself like creating visual scenes. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, all right, well, now I'm hooked. And then it was just to the point where I was like, I was more excited about buying new ingredients to make more things than about buying polishes from like my favorite makers, which is no diss at all. It's just like the
Yeah.
excitement. Like they're still out here making gorgeous things. Just the excitement of making something and being like, I had a vision and I brought it to fruition and it's even better than what I had planned for. It's just like addictive. And then you're like, I can have anything I want. Like, let's find out. And then you've also like, I think what really also stuck me was the like formulating greens is really hard. And so I was like, all right, well, now I have a challenge. And so I just, yeah, like the more challenges, formulation challenges I encountered, the deeper in I went because I was like, I'm getting to the bottom of this. Like, I'm figuring this out. Like, as a teen, I would paint with my mom. Like, I took art classes in high school, and like all of the women in my family are like hobbyist artists. So, like, my whole life, I was surrounded by like paints, sketch pads, like ample
Oh my
encouragement to just
goodness.
create whatever kind of art. And so like I came into making with like that painter, like knowing what kind of like the painter's standard coloring kit is. And it's totally different from ours because ours have to be cosmetic safe, right? So like you can't put cadmium red on your face, I don't think. You can't, like there's certain things that like a painter can use, but you don't want that anywhere near your face or your hands or your eyeballs. So yeah, I was like, all right, well, challenge accepted because I know how to make a banging green as a painter. I had no idea how to make a banging green as a nail polish maker. And then I was like, okay, well, here we go.
I
I
love
was
your
determined to
greens,
figure it out.
but now I know it's a stubborn thing. I think
Yeah,
I like
it's,
I got a new
yeah,
appreciation for your greens.
it was really like crushing because I was like, I have a vision and I can't make it happen. Or like you can get close, but you can't get the saturation you want because like yellow will cloud out your auroras. If you use it on a high dose, it will kind of like mask them the way that like white will cover like some of the shiftiness. So it was like,
Mm-hmm.
how do I balance these colorants to get as much pop from the aurora, but also get like the base color that I'm trying to get and like not have too much VNL? And it was just like, and that's the story of I have like, I don't know, thousands of prototypes and some of them are green or aqua because I just goofed around so long trying to figure out like how to make the kind of greens that I wanted to see.
That's a really good point because whenever I've swatched just like regular like Aurora, like just it's just Aurora in a suspension base. It's
Uh-huh.
on clear like falsies, like it comes off yellowish, and that's
Yeah.
now I feel like I'm like thinking about it like, well, how the hell would you do that, in a green? Because it would. Well, anyways, no, I think I get it. I get it. It's like,
Yeah.
how does that work? No, I appreciate that. It's stubborn, like, damn it, I'm gonna figure this out
Yeah. That's
and
me.
just keep going.
That's
That's amazing.
that's me as a person where I'm like, oh, did you just tell me that I can't? Well, hold my
Hmm.
LaCroix. I'll be
Uh-huh.
back. Like,
I feel like a lot of people don't refer to I Love Nail Polish a whole lot. Like I know they're doing their thing. Barbara's like,
yeah.
she's owning it. I just feel like that's so true. We don't cite I Love Nail Polish as much as we should, like, yeah, that brand's amazing. And I don't hear it a whole lot, at least in the indie community, I have to say. Like,
Yeah.
don't come for me. Okay. But I just feel like in the indie community, we don't talk about them enough. And yeah, yeah, she's definitely a pioneer too. Yeah. I do love
I
my
feel
I
like
Love Nail Polishes a lot.
yeah. Like you just go and you're like, oh my gosh, there's like 600 listings on this website. What, and like, especially as your first entry, because like I feel like when you go from the boutiques to the indies, like your indie makers are packing your
Mm-hmm.
polishes with like an ungodly amount of Aurora and special effects. Like we're
Mm-hmm.
selling you we're selling you a deal for the prices that we sell them at. Because if we
Yes.
were boutiques, we'd be like 20 plus dollars just to recoup costs on ingredients. But like
Mm-hmm.
we don't have that kind of like factory level overhead. So,
Yep.
we can keep our prices lower, but like you get that entry to like, oh my gosh, this green shift. And then you go find the indies and you're like, they don't have any like HR or corporate anything to like tell us what we can and can't do, or like, hey, you need to keep
Yeah.
like your formulations on this like budget. And then it's just like, oh my gosh, the
Mm.
absolutely like wild imagination and just the boundless creativity. Like I don't know, my favorite thing about the indies is like we all shop more or less from the same three pigment suppliers for like our special effects pigments. And yet you can see a picture on Instagram and be like, that's a Great Lakes lacquer. That's a bee's knees. That's
Yes.
an ethereal. That's a rogue.
Uh-huh.
That's polished for days. That's a whoever. That's a crack. Like you just see it and like every person has such a strong voice, or like so many of like our beloved brands have like such a strong artistic voice that even no name, no nothing, you just see it on fingers, even not even swatcher fingers, like customer fingers. They're like, I bet that's this. And then you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I got it, and I
Mm-hmm.
think like that is so cool. And that's so exciting. Like as a consumer, that's so exciting. And then as a maker too, to be like, what is my voice? Like, we all make certain shades. Like every brand has certain shades where like we all love like a bright pink with blue shimmer. Every brand has for like five of them, right? But then everybody also has their like unique take on how they layer textures, how they layer colors, like certain auroras that they just love and they use all the time. And like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, it's so exciting to be a consumer in the indie world. And it's just as exciting to be a maker. And then also sometimes still a consumer, like I'm still buying stuff and I'm like, what are you doing? Just piling it up. Like, when am I going to wear that? Like today is the first time I don't have anything on my nails because I'm between like swatching protos, but like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. The indie world is like, if you love color, you just lose your mind. There's
Yeah.
so much and there's so many unique visions. And so, like, there's something for everyone. And
Yeah.
it's, yeah. So it has been really, really cool to go from like being an enthusiastic over consumer of indie nail polish to being a very enthusiastic over maker of nail polish. From like, I need to
Yeah.
slow down. What am I doing?
It's like it's something because like just having peeked at some of the catalogs for the pigments and stuff. Oh my gosh, it is. Oh, like you think it's bad. Like those of you tuning in, if you're new to indie polish and whatnot, like our makers source their pigments, everything. And that also, like, I want to touch on too for like pre-orders and stuff. A lot of makers, like for polish pickup, I can only speak for polish pickup. These makers have like a week to turn everything around. They need to be prepared with their supplies. They need to be prepared with their bottles, their brushes, their labels, um, everything, everything you can think of. And yeah, going to what you were saying with the catalogs and stuff, like if y'all think it's expensive, like, indie polish is a luxury, it's a luxury item, 100%. But man, looking at those pigment catalogs is like, oh, it's
Yeah.
so nice.
One of our suppliers came to PBE. She's such a sweetheart. And she came to say hi. And I was like, it was like I met a celebrity. I was like so excited to meet the lady who helps me with my orders online. And so she had like a little book of swatches of like their newest pigments and was like handing out some samples and stuff. Like you have to restrain yourself. You have to be like, I can only buy like 10 new sample things when I place my like orders for the stuff that I like regularly use, like
Yeah.
it's just being a kid in a candy store. Like I want to buy them all. I want to try them all. I want to like rub them on my face because you can use them as like eyeshadow. Like you could press them
Yes.
on. Most of them anyway. Not like don't put glitter in your eyes, but
Yeah.
the auroras you could. Speaking from experience, don't put reflective glitter in your eyes. It's horrible.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think I know Adrian and Sarah pointed out that rep that was there, and
yeah,
uh I'm not I'm being, for those of you watching, I'm being purposely vague because I don't know like what some makers would consider insider info, things like that. What's the word I'm looking for?
like trade secrets.
Trade secrets and stuff. But like this like I feel like I missed everyone because they pointed her out and I was like, oh, are you serious? And she was one of the many people I missed. And it was just,
Yeah,
the whole weekend was a blur, but that is amazing. Like we're getting reps coming to PPE and stuff too. Like that's
yeah.
how big indie polish is getting. It's just bananas to me. So bananas.
Yeah. I think we're going to get so much bigger. Like, I think now that Hollow Taco is at Ulta, because I think,
Yeah.
like, we were
I
talking about
know.
ILMP, I feel like for like an older ish, I mean, I, I feel like a lot of people who came into indies at the same time that I did came through like Mooncat or Hollow Taco and not
Yeah.
ILMP. I feel like the like previous 2 years before that generation were probably people coming in because of ILMP. I just love seeing your cat in the background. But I feel like, yeah, like we're just gonna get more exposure because I feel like Hollow Taco was so many people's like gateway
Hmm.
drug to the indies. Like they saw holographic finish and they're like, that was cool. And then they're like,
Hmm.
nail polish, like what is there that's not OPI or like Orly or Essie or whatever? And then you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. So yeah, like it's just crazy how much it's growing.
And now
And
like
like,
you touch on that, like Hollow Taco being an Ulta is it like
yeah,
mind boggling. Like congrats to Christine and everything. At the same time, like she really brought on, she kind of highlighted that, especially in her early days of you that's I'm YouTube nerding. But anyways, I just it's interesting to me, yeah, that's moving forward. And I can safely say for like when we accept people in like the polished pickup group or on Facebook, we have over 20,000 people in that group now.
Oh
It's
my
just
gosh,
mind
that's
boggling.
bonkers.
But when we see the invites, yeah, the majority of them are like, oh, from Mooncat. And I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, Pepperidge Farm remembers I love nail polish. Okay. Like I remember when they released, I can't remember the name of the what she called the collection, but I still have these flakes. It was the first time we were all seeing the multi-chrome flakes. And
Oh, okay.
I think you could probably consider them maybe UC. No, probably not UCC because these are more metallic type. They're like I remember the one I had was it's Carnival something. I am like totally drawing a blank. I still have it. Um, but yeah, when those came out, it was just like, what are these little shreds of color that flip all over the place with their shifts and it's yeah, that's yeah, we need to talk about I love nail polish more often. 100%. Like I don't think we show them enough appreciation for just really sticking around all these years and just keep doing it. But anyways, so moving back on, I could nerd about like, I don't know, I really like the history of all this stuff. There's just like a lore keeper, if you will, just like knowing
Yeah.
all these things and how we got to where we are now. Um, kind of going back to how you were saying about your writing and everything. That's I'm so nerded about that. Um, that is really what ultimately got me to notice you was your first collection was of a poem and I thought that was just so unbelievably original and just beautiful and everything. Is that typically how your inspirations work? Is did you write something first, or how do your inspirations work? I guess.
I think it kind of depends, but usually I know what I'm trying to conjure emotionally. I know what I'm trying to evoke. So often I start with a poem. I think Self Portrait in Green was the first time I created a collection and then wrote a poem for it because my husband was like, you got to do a poem. It's like your thing. You can't just release this and not have a poem. And I was like, fine, let me see what I can come up with. And then I was like, oh, she really like that. All right. But yeah, usually for the poems that I've used so far, like I knew what I wanted to say through the poem, and it was that I was trying to create the visual narrative. And like, I think one of the things that I would say about like my artistic process is like hyper generative. I am always creating. Like when I said that I had thousands of prototypes, that's not an exaggeration. Like after each, like when I'm in like a weird moment of transition because I don't know if I'm going to be a pre-order shop or if I'm going to be a permanently open shop that just has lower stock but restocks more frequently. Like I've got some kind of logistical things to figure out. But like in my pre-order era, let's call it, like I would do that whole pre-order cycle and then I'd be like, finally I can have some fun. And then I would just be like prototyping for like, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours a day for like 7 days. And then I would be like, okay, I think we're ready to send, and like testing them and like making them all day, testing them at night, then figuring out like hone this down, which ones are saying what I want to say here. And like, how do I refine this to match the message? But like one of the things that can sometimes be challenging for the way that I create is like this is why I do color of the month is because like there are certain shades I want to make that I love, but they don't fit the narratives that I'm creating. And like I like having that like strong cohesion between the words and the mood of the collection and the poem and then also the colors. Like I want every color to just be like an exclamation point emphasizing the line of poetry that it's paired with. And so, you know, but then if you have like, depending on what the theme is, there's no place for like your neon pink. Like that just doesn't fit in the theme that I've like explored so far. So it's kind of all over the place. So I just give myself like little opportunities with like gifts with purchase or like where I just kind of goof around and it's like, these are pretty and I like them. And that's all that they
That's
mean.
awesome.
They're just pretty for the sake of being pretty. But then my like bigger collections are like, I want to tell a story and I need these polishes to reflect the story. So how do I do that? Through textures, through colors, through the
Mm-hmm.
color shifts, through the whole lineup. Like, so it's kind of all over the place.
It's funny because listening to you talk, like I can definitely tell you're a writer because this is the way you the way you talk. Like, I don't know, I could just, it's awesome. I love it. So I see there are some bottles behind you.
Yeah.
And I know I'm probably just as nosy as the audience here.
Uh,
Are those PBE exclusives or
this is a hodgepodge of all kinds of things. Some
I
of
love
them,
it.
I think, let's see, on the screen, can I tell my left or my right? No, I can't. But whatever, that side is a lot of the lineup I was trying to narrow down for PBE because I was like, I just wanted to make sure we were like really well stocked. So
Yeah.
I had like originally planned to bring like 40 shades, and I was like, how are we going to restock 40 shades? We need a much more zoned down quantity of stuff. So like that was the rack of me trying to figure out what am I bringing? What am I leaving at home? And then the other rack is just like a hodgepodge of prototypes, some like existing collection stuff. My duo with Cracked is on there somewhere in the middle. They're
Yay.
so cute. Yeah, so just I'm running out of place to store protos. So now they're just coming out of everywhere. I'm like, I have a Helmer. I just haven't had a new Helmer. I just haven't had a chance to assemble it. Like I just have boxes upon boxes upon boxes, and I just shove nail polishes at my friends, and I'm like, take these, and they're like, we don't have any more drawer space. Like, thank you, we love them, but like, I don't need 75 nail polishes at a time. I'm a normal person. Like,
I'm a
what's up?
normal
Like,
person.
I
I
know.
feel that.
I wouldn't know. I need them 75 at a time. Thank you.
I need I need very for me it's I need very specific brands and I'm giving them their own Helmer space like drawer real estate and like depending on how deep I am I was like oh I'm going to allocate one drawer for you I'm going to allocate four drawers for you and it's I don't know that's
Yeah.
funny I'm a normal person. Oh, we're not.
Very, very deeply unrelatable sentiment. Yeah.
When you are creating for PPU and collabs and stuff, is that a similar process? Like, do you have an idea? I know for like polished pickup, y'all only have like a month or two to know ahead of time what, get an idea of what you're going to do. And then the turnaround it is still pretty tight, especially, 1 to 2 months may not seem like a lot for a lot of people, but like in the grand scheme of things, is not.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it usually comes quickly for you, or especially with the broader themes, or
I think it really has not. I mean, it kind of depends on the theme too, but I think like for me, because so much of my work is like autobiographical in some sense, or like I don't want to create things that don't mean something to me, like mean
Mhm.
something deeply. And I feel like the reason why people respond to my work is because they see some part of like a universal experience that they've had to reflected in it. And so like
Yes.
when I encounter a theme and I'm like, what the F am I going to do with that? It like takes me a while to find the hook. That's like, that's what, like, I think there was like 90s candy was a proposed theme. And I had a nervous breakdown and I was like, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with this? Anything but this. I think that was the month that the rainforest one. And I was like, thank goodness. But then I was like, no, but everybody's going to do green and I can't do green. So I got to do
Yeah.
something else. And then On the Prowl was like a prototype for some other collection. And I just kept looking at my nails and I was like, I feel like a tiger. I don't know. Like it made me just think, and I was like, okay, cool. So it kind of,
It
it's
happened.
like, I would say for me, that's been a challenge. And then it's also like, what do you have on hand and what can you get fast enough? Which is,
Mhm.
you were talking about like the logistical constraints of PPU. And for me as a growing brand, like historically, I was never buying more than like 100, maybe 200 grams of anything at a time, which for reference is like, I don't know, depending on how you're using it, like 300 bottles worth is like 100 grams for me. Not even sometimes it's more like 250 bottles worth, like 100 grams of like whatever. It doesn't get you very far. But now it's like, if you might have to up your cap, like now I have to buy in like units of a half a kilo or like a kilo
Mhm.
at a time. So like you have to have this pigment trove at all
So
times.
much.
And then you're like, I got to draw from this trove because I need to know that like I can make this much. And like, we don't know if we can get more fast enough because it's coming from overseas. Like there's no
Mhm.
domestic wholesale supplier of this in the US. So like sometimes they can dispatch it like 2 days after you order. And sometimes it's like a 3 week turnaround time before they ship your order, like just depending on their manufacturing process. So yeah, there's like when you're just creating for yourself and you set your own timeline, like it doesn't matter when the pigment's ready. I'll just shelve the collection until the pigment is ready and like release something. You know what I mean? Like you have a lot of like play, but with PPU, you're always fighting against time
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
logistical constraints and like, what do I have? Do I have enough? Can I get more if I need it in time? I want, oh my gosh, my cat is making weird noises. I apologize if you can hear him, but yeah, like you're just kind of, it's that like, it's more like you have to think more like a business person and not just purely like an artist. Whereas for your own brand stuff, you could just do whatever you want,
Hmm.
however you want. If you're not ready, if the of inspiration doesn't strike, you just wait it out until you have it. But like with
Yeah.
PPU, it's like there's this forcing function of time where it's like you just got to be ready. So make it like right now. I
Hmm.
thought I had an idea for September, then I was like, I don't know. I think I should hold that for something else. And now I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? PPU Ween. And like that's very exciting. And like Halloween, like nail polish people love Halloween. Everybody loves Halloween, I think. And there's so many, and so it's like I'm like the
I
pressure. I think getting used to
yeah.
that external pressure,
Uh-huh.
it has been like a learning curve. But like it's really exciting too. And it's like really cool to just be a part of a thing with all these other brands that I respect
Yeah.
and admire. Like and to see what other people are doing and like avid PPU shopper here. Like it's so cool to go to PPU where I used to spend all my monies and be like, I could buy my own products, like it's just very surreal. So yeah, like I think as I like over time, I think it will become easier to be like, I have no connection to this theme, but like let's find a way to connect it. Or like let me learn
Yeah.
about this theme and then figure out like how do I make what resonates with me.
I love that. I would imagine for someone like you that is a bit of a challenge. I love that you're just like, all
Yeah.
right, I'm gonna figure it out. Like, how do I
Yeah.
do this? Because I do. I understand that like everybody, we have so many makers that there are so many different ways that people are getting inspirations and especially for these really broad themes. I know not everyone creates the same, and I know not everyone. I don't know how to say this without like making anyone feel bad, but I know not everyone um just wants to embrace a theme so hard. And coming from my standpoint, I feel like I can tell. I'm just going to say it. I feel like I can tell. I can tell when like heart went into something. I can tell cuz I don't know, like just seeing so many, not just in person, but every month on the shop and stuff, I just feel like you can tell. You can tell who put their heart and soul into something, who really thought about this. I have this
Yeah.
inspiration, and then each of my components, match up with that inspiration. I don't know. It's we. I definitely appreciate that. That's really neat. Okay, we have 6 minutes. It just yelled
Oh
at
my
me.
gosh. You
I
weren't
told
kidding
you
about time flying.
it does. It really does.
Holy cow.
You like fart, and then
Yeah.
we're done. Yeah, it's amazing. I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up if you're okay with
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
I just want to like end on a non nail polish related note. I know we took a
Okay.
real deep dive here, which I
Okay. Yeah.
love so much. Um, what's your favorite book?
Oh my gosh.
I
I don't know
know,
how to
I
answer
know,
that.
I know.
I I don't know. I would just that's like so hard.
I knew it
Probably.
was gonna be hard.
There's like books you read as like
Mm.
I'm just waffling through this. You're not gonna get an answer out of me because it's so hard.
Okay,
There's
okay.
like books you read in your formative years that like changed you in some way or
Uh-huh.
changed your thinking
Yeah.
about the world. And then there's like books that you just think about all the time and have read like 4 times because you love them. And like I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Okay. How about this? When I was on the plane, because
Okay.
it's like almost 3 hours, I read a romantasy and I absolutely hated it. And I
Okay.
was so excited because I hardly ever have time to read anymore. It was
Oh
horrible.
no.
And I don't realize if I'm
There's a
just
lot
too
of bad
old.
ones out there.
I,
No,
I
there's a
think
lot
I'm
of
just
really
too
bad
old.
writing.
Yeah.
No, it's not you. It's tropes and bad writing. I mean,
I think that's
anything
what it
that's like
was.
hot on the market, you're gonna get a bunch of garbage and then you're gonna get some really good and thoughtful work. So yeah,
Yeah. And
I have
I'm
read
a
some.
word nerd myself.
Yeah.
This was terrible. The whole time I was just like, why don't you just tell him to stop treating you like that? And then for him, like, why don't you just like work on your anger issues? The whole time
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is,
That's like all of them actually.
I couldn't do it. So how about this? Recommend me a book. Can you do that?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's not super duper romantasy, but I'd say like one of the best books I've read recently in the like fantasy realm is One Dark Window. I was
Oh,
just
okay.
like, it's so good. It's just so good. It's really well written. It's more literary than a lot of other things I have read lately. Like, I mean, it's not like some like, we're going to teach this in a college class. This is like American or whatever nationality the author is, like classic, but like it's just really well written and really well done. And yeah, so I have recommended it to multiple friends who like listen to it
Okay.
as an audiobook while driving to work or whatever. And it's good.
Okay, I'll put that on my Kindle because that other book was not it at
There's
all.
so many bad ones. And then I'm like, I spent my hard earned money on this thing. So I'm getting to the
I'm
end of
gonna
this. And then
read
you
it.
get to
Damn
the
it.
end and you're like, you owe me for this new wrinkle. Cause I was like, what am I looking at? Like, what is this? Who finds this hot? Like,
I know.
no, everyone
I
needs to
know.
go to therapy. Go to
I know
therapy.
there was some, I know there was a man that was on my return flight home. It was super late at night. And I just know if he probably saw the look on my face. Cause like whenever I was leaving, he was like scrambling, like help me get my crap from the overhead stuff. And I wonder, did he think I was upset the whole time on the flight? Because I was just reading it and I know I don't have a poker face like at all.
Yeah, I don't either.
And I was probably just reading my phone and it's just like looking like hella confused the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I'll
that was
just
bad.
be like,
It
and
was
then I'll
like,
like
yeah, I was
immediately
like,
take a picture and send it to my friend. I'm like, what did I just read? And
right.
then you're like, do people find this hot though?
I
And they
know.
do. And then you're like, what? No, no, there's a better way
Yes.
to do this.
Yeah, there is
There's
a
a
better
beautiful
way.
way to do
Yes.
this. Like, what are we doing
There is
here?
that is hilarious. Yeah, I was just like, okay, am I broken?
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with me? Like,
Yeah.
this is not it. Okay. So, oh yeah, we have like less than 2 minutes. So
Okay.
just
Okay.
on a complete end note and everything.
Okay.
P.S. Go like please order Karen's polish pickup polish from August. I wore it at PBE. Those of you who saw it, I had so many of you asking. It's freaking gorgeous. Check her out in August polish pickup for time travel. Karen, do you have anything you want to plug that's coming up for your shop or anything that we can
I
let the audience
do.
know?
So on August 8th, which is a Friday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be offering all of my PBE overpours. And I went like full Midwesterner preparing for like dinner with two people. Where you're like, I'll just make enough for the whole neighborhood. That should be enough for two people, right? So I've got extras. I just like my anxiety was through the roof. And I was like, the only thing that will quell this anxiety is just to feel like I have enough. So there's plenty. Please come and buy it. It needs to get out of my house. And then I'll also be releasing Paradise Found, which was supposed to be my June
Yes.
collection, but I had like a bottle delay. So that's coming out in August. And then I will also have the Lola Tibbers Turns 4 polishes, which debuted at PBE. Those are like neon pinks and purples in honor of our little Lola. That's our dog who just turned 4 years old. And also the GWPs that I offered on my website back in April, which are like neon greens.
Mm-hmm.
So
Those are
yes, it's
gorgeous.
going to be a ton of stuff, but it'll be good. So many. I just was like, I got to get all these bright summery things out because we got to get ready for fall. We got to get ready for all the
Dark
moody,
and
broody,
spooky.
dark and vampy stuff. Yeah. So
Yeah.
August 8th, 6 p.m. Central,
Okay.
luridlacquer.com. There will be greens. There will be so many greens and so many.
It was absolutely amazing getting to talk to Karen. I am very lucky to call her friend. And as you can see, we could talk and just yammer for hours. She's such a joy. Be sure to show her some love in the comments section of this video. Thank you again, Karen, for doing this. And show Lurid Lacquer some love. Show Lurid Lacquer love through Polish Pickup and for her shop opening on August 8th. We are so very excited for everyone to get their hands on their Polish and Beauty Expo exclusives. If you were not able to go, there's so many good stuff dropping for this release for her. And I will have all of her links in the description box below. And I'll also have the PPU links too. As always, thank you all so very much for watching and we'll see you next month.